think we're live. I think we are live. Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me. As always, please let me know if you can hear me and you can see me okay and the volume levels are okay. And welcome to a solo playthrough of Anachrony. Each month, I put a list up for my Patreon supporters to vote on which solo game they want to see me play, and Anachrony won the vote for this month by a considerable margin. There was about 10 games, I think, on the list, and Anachrony, I think, got double what everything else got. I do a number of solo playthroughs each month, but as I say, my Patreon supporters influence the solo playthroughs that I do, and this is definitely one that they voted on seeing. I have done a solo playthrough of this with the old Chronobot. Tonight, I'm using the new Infinity box, so this is the new edition of Anachrony, and I'm going to be using the new Chronossus bot, which I've not played before. So I'm being joined this evening by Stevie. Good evening.
Good evening from the future.
How is the future Helsinki? Oh, he's gone. He's disappeared. Well, that didn't last long. We did a whole test this afternoon and it all worked fine, but now he's disappeared. I got a good evening from the future and then he's gone. Right, okay, so sorry for that. We seem to have lost him. We've lost the Skype call. Hopefully he'll call me back in a second. But yeah, this is, although we're doing a solo playthrough, this is one of those playthroughs where I'm actually going to be playing it. Oh, hang on, he's coming back. Let's click the button. Are you back again? He was back. No, he's not back. There is a poor network connection. Right, it might just be me tonight. As I say, we did an hour's test this afternoon and it was all working fine, but now we're actually doing it live. It doesn't seem to be working. So I will carry on talking to you. Anyway, Anachrony. Yes, we're going to be doing the solo game tonight, and if we can get connected to Stevie. Here, you got it working?
I switched back to the cell network.
Right, okay.
just as soon as you asked me to say hello, Skype just froze up. So
yeah,
let's get the technical problems out of the way early so they don't.
We got a good evening from the future, and then that was it. And then
if that's not the most appropriate way for me to go down, I don't know.
Well, exactly. Exactly. So I was just saying to people that we are doing the solo game tonight, but I started doing this last year, actually, is actually playing solo games, but with two people playing together. And I started doing it with Vittel the Surda games because his games are fairly complicated, and I felt more comfortable doing it with somebody else. And I felt the same about this one because I'd thought that the new Chronossus was actually going to be a little bit complicated for me, bearing in mind I don't remember the game that well. Stevie's a big fan of the game, so he's basically joined me. But it's not that complicated, is it?
No, it's a top 3 game for me probably, and
yeah.
I tried this out in preparation for a stream and thought to myself at the end, well, no one's going to have a problem with this. Actually, it's quite straightforward.
Yeah. Now, you've never played the game solo before, is that right?
Not before preparing for this, no.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Right. So we're going to dive in. We're going to start playing, but before we start, I will just tell you what it is we're trying to do. This is not going to be a tutorial video for Anachrony. This is just going to be an overview of how the Chronossus bot works. So this is the Chronossus board. And whenever the Chronossus takes an action, you will roll the die. Now this is an average die. So we have a 2, 2 3s, 2 4s and a 5 on there. And then you look up where the appropriate number token is. It does that particular action and then the token moves on. Okay. If it can't do the action, then it gets a point instead. But basically it will be repeating those actions. It collects resources here. It collects workers here. The only purpose of it collecting these is once it's got a full set, it loses them all and it gets 5 points. It will get a variable number of exosuits each round, depending on whether it's before the impact or after the impact. We'll come on to that later. And it's basically trying to build the 4 types of buildings, and it will get points from these. So it's relatively simple. It isn't doing anything fancy. It doesn't really spend resources on anything. It just gets stuff, and that's how that works. Now, we have drawn at the start of the game, we have drawn 3 of these objectives. Now, these are from the Chronossus bot, and these are personal objectives, and these will basically give us points at the end of the game based on these 3 conditions. I can't remember how many cards there are included.
I think there's 8 plus a couple for the different modules or expansions you might use.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's the thing. We're just playing the base game tonight. We're not playing with any of the modules. You can. This bot certainly does cope with the other modules, and there's all sorts of extra things. But tonight we're just
Well, we have the alternate timelines in, but nothing out of
That's
the
true.
box.
Yes, we're using the alternate timelines, but we're not using Doomsday. We're not using
Pioneers, Guardians,
but you
Intrigues, new technologies, blinking.
That's it. So let's look at our 3 objectives. We have water. So if we have 8, 12 or 18 water at the end of the game, we get 1, 2 or 4 points. The ability to travel back in time. We add up the total value of our power plants and we move and we get points based on the values of those and how many building spaces we've occupied, either with super projects, normal buildings or anomalies or whatever. So there are 3 objectives to get points. The other thing about the Chronossus is the Chronossus will not evacuate. So it won't get any points for evacuation, and we're not in any rush to evacuate because in a multiplayer game, the last player to evacuate does get a -3 point penalty. So in this game, we don't have to worry about that. We do want to evacuate at some point, but yeah, we're not really bothered about when. We are using the path of progress. We're using the B side of the player board, and then we randomly chose the B side of the path board, and we have gone with Patron Valerian. Let me just show you that. So yeah, Patron Valerian is our one here. So just to remind you of our special ability is during the action phase of the game, all of our scientists count as geniuses, which means they can perform any task admirably. Our evacuation condition is we need to have at least 8 water. And then once we do evacuate, we get 5 points for every super project we've got. We have special abilities on our board as well, in that this is the B side of the board, which means it is an asymmetric power. Our exosuits, we can use energy cores to power them up, or we can use titanium, uranium, or gold. So that's that special ability. These are slightly different for this, and also if we use an administrator to wake people up, the administrator does not come back motivated. Normally they do. And the final ability for us, well, we've got 2
extra.
More.
We can hold on. Yep, you got
Power
it.
plants, factories, and labs. If we use a scientist in one of those buildings, that scientist comes back motivated. So our scientists are really good. And we can actually, it requires 4 paradoxes before we get an anomaly, not 3. So there you go. That is our special abilities. Right. Are we ready to start?
Hope so.
So round 1, we are going to reveal the first card on here, and we get 2 scientists. For those who don't know the game, what you can't see is off camera, I have lots of componentry. Right, there's a huge amount in this game, and you're not seeing all of it here because I've got most of the stuff off camera, because it would be way too cluttered otherwise. So we've got 2 scientists, 2 engineers, no administrators, no geniuses. Geniuses or genii?
I suppose we'd have to ask them. They're the smart ones.
Geniuses sounds better. Right, minerals, we have 3 gold. 1, 2, 3. 1 uranium and 1 titanium. Oop. And we put these in as well. Okay, so that's that done. We reveal the next super project, which is synthetic endorphins.
My favorite kind.
Okay. Anything else we need to do? I think that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, the building stacks. Yeah, building stacks. So I'd already done the building stacks when we did the setup.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So phase 2, paradox. We skipped that in the first stage of the game because nobody's got any warp tiles on there. Powering up. Now, the Chronossus starts off as the first player, so the Chronossus needs to decide how many exosuits they've got. So what I have here is I have a bag. In the bag are 5 of the good energy cores and 5 of the depleted energy cores. That's how the bag starts, okay? So we're going to give this a shuffle, and pre-impact, we draw 3 out, and we see what we get. We have drawn, right, 1 energy core and 2 depleted ones. So that means it's going to start with 4 for this particular round. And then what happens is one of these, the depleted ones, goes back in the bag. Okay, and the other 2 counters get removed from the game. So the contents of the bag will change. Right, how many do we want to power up? We get 3. Now I have been painting these. These are not quite finished, but this is probably the most finished one. I have been painting them, but these are in various stages of being painted. So we get 3 to start with.
I think we want at least one more, if not 2 more.
Yeah, now what do we want to pay? We might as well pay with energy cores, because the energy cores are only useful for this, aren't they?
For that,
really?
Yeah. Or for trading. But yeah, we might not need to do that the entire game.
Yeah. So you're thinking 2 more to start with?
Yeah, we'll probably end up with 1 extra guy, either from warping or from hiring. But if we do all 6, then that might be spending a lot of resources very early.
Yeah. Okay, so 2 energy cores for another 2 of these. Okay, which means at the end of the phase, we've got 1 empty space, we get 1 water. Right, warping. Now, when you're playing with the alternative timelines, there are some slightly different rules for warping. In the player, whatever the turn order is, you as the player, you need to decide how many you're warping first. Then you roll for the Chronossus to see how many they're warping, but the Chronossus will be placing first on the timeline up here because the Chronossus is the first player. So, now we've talked about this off camera first. We were thinking 2, weren't we?
Yeah, definitely a purple one because we want to build a time travel machine, a power plant.
Yeah, so we are going to warp in some neutronium from the future.
And the first super project available to us is the one that pulls 3 warp tiles off of the timeline.
Yeah.
So if we aim to build that one early, then we could clean up after ourselves really efficiently. So I'm not sure what we want to get with the second one. It could be a scientist because they're all super powered for us.
Yeah.
Or
water.
Or water, because we need water. We're going to need lots of water all game long.
Yeah.
If we got the scientist, that would negate the need to go hiring this round, which might make the rest of our actions more efficient.
Yeah, but what I was thinking is if we do hire the scientist, that comes with 2 water. So that's more.
Fair enough. That's same. Yep.
So we'll warp in some water as well.
Sure.
So I will ring my future self and say, I'm thirsty, please send some water. Right, so they are the 2 warp tiles. Now, the Chronossus, we roll this die to see how many they're going to put in. And we want them to put 1 in, because we're playing with the alternative timeline. The first space that's occupied actually gets a paradox. So we really want them to get
We'd
1.
love for him to roll 2.
Oh, rolled a blank.
Good job.
So,
the time you don't want to roll the blank on that die.
Yeah. So unfortunately, we get a paradox. And those go on there.
That's not the way this should have started.
No, that wasn't the plan. That pesky 1 in 6 chance of a blank. Okay. Oh, David's just popped in the chat. Hi, David. Thank you for joining in. Right. Valerian from the update pack. Yes, Valerian is from the update pack, I believe. Right. So that's the warp phase done. Now we go to the action rounds. So the Chronossus is going first. And as mentioned, what you do when it's the Chronossus' turn, you simply roll the dice. We've rolled a 4. And then we look at which action number 4 is. And it does that action.
Build a factory.
So it's going to build a factory. Okay, so what we do is we take one of its exosuits, we put it on the build space, and it basically builds a factory. Now we've got 2 factories available. This one's worth 3 points, that one's worth 2. So it takes the one worth 3. That goes there, and then the action marker moves on to the next space, and that's it. That's how the Chronossus works. Right, it's our go. Now, what do we want to do?
What's the new factory that appeared?
The new factory that appeared is 209.
So we spend some water and some green to get a purple and some points.
Yeah.
Do you feel like we might use any of these buildings more than the other? Because the power plant was the early plan. I still like it as a plan.
Yeah. Yeah, this one is quite nice for us, isn't it?
Also, the lab is pretty good. It does cost us water, but it lets us hire scientists without having to use an exosuit.
Uh-huh.
I like both of those. We probably can't afford them both.
This lab.
Oh, yeah. That one extends the power plant range by 2,
and I'm thinking,
which is going to be what we need to get that sum of power plant totals. Yeah, at the end of the game.
Does it extend every power plant by 2?
I believe it does. I know it does during their usage. We should double check for scoring purposes. I have a rulebook here. I'll look it up while you're doing
so you're going to look 402. So we've got lots of options. We were talking about potentially hiring another scientist. We were talking about potentially building something.
The 2 power plants that are out are both 4-pointers, right?
They are.
So we know that it's going to take the one from the small stack the next time it builds, which is not the one that we want. So that's great. But it will take the lab that we want if it were to build labs next. Maybe we should... Can we afford to build a lab with what we have?
We need to build a lab. We need 1 uranium, 2 titanium, and a water. So yes, we can build a lab.
Good. It's 50-50. I think we probably build twice this round anyway, it seems.
I think so.
Yep. Whichever you like.
Well, what I'm thinking is if we decide to build now, then when Chronossus bot builds again, is it going to go here?
It will take the... Ooh, that's a good question.
Because if it will, that means it's going first next round, and I kind of want us to go first next round, because then we get the morale boost.
That is a very good point. That morale boost is going to be... I mean, it's 3 points for us.
We can also look at what it's likely to do next turn. If it rolls a 3, it's going to build. If it rolls a 2, it's going to build. So there's a 50-50 chance that it's going to build next turn.
And
we can take that into account.
Building different things. We don't care if it builds a water building.
Yeah, Sean makes a good point. It isn't going to build labs anytime soon.
That's true. All right, let's get the power plant then.
The 4 would need to go there and there before it builds the labs.
So if you want the Chronossus to eat up the bottom space so that we can take the turn order thing, then we should collect resources in the meantime or go hiring to get that scientist. One of the two.
I think go hiring. Yeah. So we'll go hiring. Good. We'll send an administrator here. We'll take a scientist, which gets us 2 water. There you go. And that goes there. Loads of scientists. Right, okay. So now it's the Chronossus who go. I roll a 5. So it's moving to here, and it's doing this. So it's getting a breakthrough.
It doesn't matter which one. We can take any size or shape we want. Actually, there's it will take a shape that it doesn't already have, I think, is the rule in the Chronossus, because it still gets points for having a set of all 3 shapes at the end of the game. Because
it looks like you roll the dice, but you're saying it doesn't roll the dice. It says when you're using the research agent, only roll the shape die.
Oh, okay.
Taking any breakthrough of the roll shape.
I'm thinking of one of the difficulty increasing options that we can choose. Maybe we're not good enough that we need to dive into those yet.
It's got a triangle. We can give it any triangle. It doesn't matter. So we'll give it that triangle, the one with the target on. And then the 5 goes to here. So you can have 2 of these counters on the same space. Is that right?
Yes, and then it's just twice as likely that it does that action.
Yeah. Okay, that's it. Our go.
Well, it didn't build like we thought it was going to.
It didn't build, but it's very likely to build this turn.
So then we go mining now?
Yeah, I think so. So we use one of our scientists, and our scientists work as geniuses. So yeah, so they count as an engineer. And what are we going to take? If we're going to plan to build... I know what Sean was saying, is that we're not in any rush to build this one, but if we don't build it this round, it's going to get overwritten.
Yeah.
So I think we need some titanium.
I think so too, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the most rare out of the resources that came out,
of the ones we've got, it is. I think maybe go on the bottom and we just take this 2 titanium.
Sounds great.
There we go. Okay, right, we're done. Back to Chronossus. It's a 5, again. So it's building a power plant. So as you say, if they're tied on victory points, it builds the one from the lowest
stack. From the small stack. That's my understanding.
Is there. And then the number 5 moves to there. Oh, and it has to put a thing on the space to do that, which I didn't do. Right, so that's there. Now we can build, and that will snatch us the first player.
Yes, please.
Right. Okay, so we go there. That costs us 2 water. And we're still building the lab? Yeah, it's not the lab, the power plant.
Well, at this point...
Because if it rolls a 2, it'll still build the power plant.
Oh, yeah, okay, great. That's the one that's in any danger. Yep.
Sean says he thinks the Chronossus performs the action that was rolled and then it advances. That's what I'm doing, I think. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm rolling it, I'm doing the action, and then I'm moving the counter afterwards. So, yeah, I think the power plant.
Mm-hmm.
So we need a neutronium. Oh, but we get a discount, don't we?
Because we use the genius.
So you still get these bonuses here, yeah. So 1 titanium, 1 gold, and 1 water. Okay, so we've built this, which can go there. And now it is Chronossus. So I've rolled a 3. So it's building a life support building. So it goes on
with
there.
3 points, yeah.
And it takes the one that's worth 3 points. And then we move the counter on. Okay.
All right.
So no more building can happen this turn.
Yeah, we've completely used it all up.
Yeah.
I checked 2 things. We were right about both of them. The Lab 402 that gives 2 to the power plant distance will count a single time for the end game scoring, but we do still get to count 2. And what was the other thing I looked up? It was the Chronobot using... now I've blanked, but we got it right.
Okay.
We haven't done anything.
Whatever it was, we got right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's still got a robot left, and
yeah, we got 2.
He's going to grab a power core with his next roll of a 5.
Yeah.
And he would try to build and fail, and therefore spend a robot and get a victory point if he rolls a 2.
Where would he put the robot? Where would he put
he just
the
discards it.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, he tries to perform an action that requires a robot, so the robot gets spent,
right.
And he gets a victory point because he fails.
And if it rolled a 3, it's going to get a victory point because it doesn't have a warp tile.
Right, exactly right.
Okay.
I think we go for breakthroughs.
Do some research.
Yeah, we try to plan to scoop up the stabilizer on them.
Yeah, so what are we going to need? We'll send a scientist down here, and we need circular clock or any triangle or any square. Should we try and go for the circular clock?
I would do it by picking clock.
Pick clock. So we're picking clock.
Because then any result still helps us build it.
Yeah. Roll the square. We got a square clock.
Maybe fashionable, but not what we were looking for.
Not what we were looking for. Okay, now it is Chronossus. It's a 4, which is nothing, so it takes no action. And then the 4 moves to there.
Yep.
Right, our go. We have 1 exosuit left. And I forgot to put a scientist in here. So we only have 1 administrator left. What are we going to do?
We can't go researching again. We could when in doubt go for water, or we could have him pick up more materials.
We could go for 3 water. We could go recruiting, or we could go for some more materials. I'm thinking. Oh, what am I thinking? The problem is if we do really want this lab, and I don't know whether we do now, because it isn't completely broken as we thought.
Mm.
But as you say, we're not going to be able to get the 10 with only 3 power plants.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really hard one to do. Then again, they're all really hard. You know, how often do you end games with 18 water?
And even going for the 9 assumes that we end up with a 3 and a 4 out of the ones that are left.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
And it's only 1 extra point to get the silver star.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. I think resources, because I think we're going to
I'm
need more at some point anyway. So we will send our administrator, who complains bitterly because he's like, well, I'm not a miner.
Let's get at least 1 uranium.
Yeah, so we'll just go on the top spot, get a uranium and a gold. So that gives us 2 uranium, 3 titanium, and 1 gold. There we go. Right, so back to Chronossus. Rolled a 3, so it can't do that. So it just gets 1 victory point.
Mm-hmm. But we still move the number 3 token forward.
And we move the number 3 token, but that doesn't use an exosuit.
Correct.
Right, so now it's our go. We have no people left. We have no actions that we can do without people, so we pass.
Yep.
And now Chronossus carries on playing.
Mm-hmm.
I've rolled a 4. So it
he
goes
to
mining.
dig.
Right. So what does it do in this situation?
So there's a vertical column of resource types.
Yeah.
And it farms them up in that priority order. And
So it wants to take
get one of
neutronium.
each.
No neutronium.
Mm-hmm.
So it tries to take uranium, which it does, and then it takes gold.
Yep.
So
yep. It still has to place the robot in the middle spot. So it has to take the gold nonetheless. And then the decision is made amongst the ones on the left.
Right. Okay. Got it. Okay. Now, it doesn't have anything left, but it carries on playing until it would place one and can't.
And we have to move the number 4 token.
We move the number 4 token on. Yep. Okay. Right. So it carries on. And it's rolled a 5, which means...
It gets a power core in the cup.
Or
in your bag.
So we take one of the power cores and we put it in the bag. Okay. There you go. So that's how it gets those.
Now I think no matter what it rolls, it will need a robot for the next action, so we don't need to bother.
5 on. So we roll the 4. It can't do that. So it doesn't get the point. We don't move the 4 on. And that's it. It's done. Yep. Right. Okay. So we go to phase 6. We retrieve workers. So we need to get this scientist back who is asleep. We get this administrator back who is asleep. This scientist back who's also asleep. This scientist, however, was a miner, so he's awake. He's motivated. And this administrator is asleep. So we've got lots of sleepy people.
Mm-hmm. We may be hiring someone from the future to set up the alarm clock.
Yeah, that's what we need. We need an alarm clock. It's not been invented yet. Okay, check for impact, check for game end, next era. Okay, off we go then. So we move that on to era 2. Yep. Refill the mine. So we have, 2 neutronium.
Hot damn.
1 gold. And 2 titanium. All right. The neutronium has arrived. Got that there. Got that there. Right, that's that card done. Next, we have people. 1 of each. So we have a scientist, an engineer, an administrator, and a genius.
A common everyday genius, not a scientist genius.
No. And we flip over the next super project, which is the Exo Crawler. And I will put some new buildings out.
That's a fantastic one.
That one?
Yeah, and the super project.
Oh, what does it do? Put a person on there?
It's a free action to use a robot action. So basically we can take 2 robot actions in the same go, if I'm remembering correctly.
Okay. We've done that. Right, paradox. So we have to roll for that first part of the timeline. See what we get. Rolled 1 paradox. So we now have 2 paradoxes.
No, not the worst possible luck.
No. Right, powering up. We are the first player. I should have swapped that over. So we have to decide how many we're powering up first.
Clearly the 3 free ones.
Yeah.
We know we're going to use our first action probably just to wake people up. So it's kind of like not having first turn if we have to spend that action to wake people up.
Yeah.
But we are going to have a lot after that, and we want to. So here's my idea of a plan. We go mining to get one of those purples.
Yeah.
We go back in time and return the purple, and then we buy the super project while we're there, which means we'll need to research in between as well. So mining, building, researching is those 3 used up. If we don't get what we want researching, we could be in a little bit of a bind. And then, of course, we'd like to collect lots of water in the meantime.
We can definitely get what we need for the continuum stabilizer, because as long as we just take a triangle.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true.
We've got it.
And then are we already good on materials? Because we have a good selection of them.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if we're going to get a neutronium in order to go back in time and pay that loan off, we do need another gold.
which we can pick up with the same action.
We can pick up. But as you say, if our first action is to wake people up with this scientist, is Chronossus going to go mining before us?
If he goes mining,
no.
He's going to try to build a power plant, or he's going to build something with his, or he's going to recruit. Those are his 4 options for his first move.
So we're okay to do that.
He might go mining with his second action, but we're okay. But by then we've gone in and got what we need.
Okay, so you're thinking we warp 2 things in this turn. And then we go back and we pay off
maximum use of it. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
We're sort of because the timeline tile has a increased morale and then a decreased morale right after it. We're kind of just letting those wash.
Yeah.
But since the Chronossus doesn't have a morale tracker anyway, and ignores the bad things, leaving the bad thing there for him isn't actually helpful.
Yeah. So exosuits, 2 more.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have 2 more exosuits. That cost us our remaining 2 energy cores. We get 1 water. Okay. So let's see. So it's 3 of these. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it's got 5 exosuits for this turn. 1, 2,
that's a lot.
3, 4.
I guess that's okay because they're coming out of the bag. But
yeah, so that one goes back in the bag, and those 2 go in the pile over there. Okay, right. So that was powering up warping. So we have to make the decision first, and then we also place first on the timeline.
Mm-hmm. And we can't grab water because we used that last time.
Mm-hmm.
We could grab a scientist. We could grab... honestly, we could get the gold we needed, but we're going to mine for it anyway. Maybe it's not so bad.
Whatever we're going to take now, we're going to get for free, because we're planning on removing this tile straight away. So
we could even get a robot then. I don't know that we'll have enough pilots for it. Will we have enough pilots for it if we get a robot and a scientist?
No. No, we have 5 sleepy people at the moment.
Then we should get 2 people, a scientist and a somebody. Engineer, probably.
So we're gonna warp in the 2 people?
Yeah. We have to pay the water for them, but we won't have to pay them back later.
Yeah. So we pay the water as they arrive very thirsty. We get a scientist and an engineer, which arrive awake.
Yep.
And we then put these on the timeline so our morale goes up and then our morale goes down. And then we roll to see how many warp tokens Chronossus places, which is 1. Now, what does that icon mean?
That would mean if it were placing a warp tile that gave a resource, it would get double of that resource.
Oh, right.
But the Chronossus doesn't gain anything from the warp tiles anyway.
Excellent. Right, so that is
warping. He does get, I'm sorry, he does get 2 victory points, I believe.
Oh, he gets 2 victory points, okay.
Instead of a bonus off of the timeline tiles.
2 victory points.
Yep.
There you go. Right, so actions, and it is our action first. And we don't have to wake somebody up now because we've got lots of people.
Yeah, let's just go do our mining thing.
Okay, so we're going to go with... It doesn't really matter which one we go with because our scientists work as anything, so we'll send the engineer. And we are going to go for the neutronium and the gold.
Yeah. And a bad thought just occurred to me, but we don't have enough water to wake people up in the nice way, do we?
Yeah, we got 5.
Okay, great. That'll cost us everything. But then we'll be and the super project doesn't require water. Okay.
No.
Just barely cutting through. Okay.
Yep. All this talk of water is making me thirsty. Just going to have a drink. Right. Okay. So that was our first action. Chronossus. 3. It gets 2 points and then it moves on. So I'm going to take all of its points off it and give it a 5.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Right. Our go.
Oh, it's getting actually pretty pretty hairy now because if he rolls a 3 again, he'll build the super project we're gunning for out from under us.
That's true. So we're going to have to go back in time now then.
No time like the present.
Yeah. So we're going to put our scientist on here to refocus back to here, and then we pay 1 neutronium to remove that, which moves this marker on, and we get that back, and that goes in there. That's how it works, isn't it?
Yep.
Now for us, that first one only got us 1 point. It's normally 2 for each, but we're a bit slow on starting for that one. Right, okay.
I think this faction gets better points for morale and worse points for time travel.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I think it's designed that we do more time travel stuff.
Maybe we have a higher cap. Yeah.
Hopefully not a 3. It's a 4. So what is 4? 4 is it's building a lab.
Builds a lab.
So it goes here. It builds, they're both worth 2, so it builds the one from the small stack. The lab goes there, and the counter number 4 moves on. Right. Excellent.
Re-reveals the one that we might have gotten last round.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to build that super project then before it does.
Yeah, we have to.
So, we don't have
Which means we're
water.
waking people up the mean way. or we risk it. We have a 2/3 chance that it's still there when our turn comes, but it's only 2/3 chance.
I don't like the 2/3 chance.
Then we accept a couple of negative victory points.
Yeah. So we send a scientist out in an exosuit to here, spend 1 water to build. And we are building the super project. So it costs 2 titanium, 2 gold.
Only 1.
Oh no, hang on.
Still the discount.
Hang on, we can't do that.
What haven't we got? Oh, we didn't do the research yet.
We didn't do the research.
Well, then she has to go researching instead of building.
Yeah, absolutely has to. So we'll go here. We are
Still
going to
the shortest path from
choose.
A to B.
We're
You
going to
said
choose
triangle
triangle,
anything.
aren't we? Yeah. So triangle, people triangle.
And what a lovely triangle it is.
Yeah, there we go. Right, okay. Now, let's see what they do.
Everybody in chat better be crossing their fingers for us.
It's a 2.
They build a power plant.
Build a power plant, and then that moves to there. So it's going here, and it's building this one. Okay. Right, so our go. Now we can build the super project. No, we can't. We've got to wake people up first. But waking people up isn't...
We can do that with the free action.
It's a free action. So free action, lose a morale, wake everybody up. And then we send an engineer.
Yep.
Now, do we have to use this first space?
So if we don't, it will. Even if we don't, if it tries to build again, it will use the more valuable council space. So the chances of us being first next turn are pretty small. And looking ahead at the timeline tile, it would give us 1 victory point for each of the 2 warp spaces we use, but the Chronossus will get 2 victory points for each of those spaces that it can use.
Yeah. So I think we go first next round.
If we can, because we didn't spend the water to wake people up. So
Nope. Right. So we build a continuum stabilizer. So anywhere, as we were, 2 titanium, 2 gold, a triangle and a square.
Minus 1 titanium, right? Or is it
1 titanium, because we get a discount. Yep. I don't think I've ever built a super project this early. Right, where do we want to put it? That is the question.
Well, we have to put it as far to the left as we can, and we have a water goal. It's tough. The easy answer is to fill up the labs. But that leaves us 1 lab option, and it's very expensive. But I'd be afraid of covering over the water spaces because we have those 2 water goals, and I'd be afraid of covering up the factory spaces because we're going to be using cubes to power our robots for the rest of the game.
Ditto. Yeah, so it's going there.
Yep.
Right. Okay, and then immediately as a one-off effect, we remove these 3 lovely tiles.
Yes. And that's an 11-point turn for us.
Is it?
6 for the super project, and assuming that we do evacuate before the end of the game, we'll get another 5.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Yeah, nice. Right, okay, that is our go done. Chronossus, 4.
Recruits a genius if possible, and if not, then researches.
So it recruits a genius. It goes there, recruits a genius, genius goes there. Okay, and then we move number 4 on to there. Mm-hmm. Right, our go. We have 4 workers left, and we have 2 exosuits left.
Yep. Now we've done the big thing that we were planning to do, and now I'm out of ideas.
So
maybe that factory there. Is it 2 water or 3?
This one costs 3. It's an engineer and 3, but it does get some good stuff. I'm thinking of a water building. We can't afford it. We need the gold, but I'm thinking get the gold and build that.
Such a trickle well.
It is, but we got it quite early.
And it doesn't cost us any. That's true. That's true. It's going to be, 9 water over the course of the game?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not terrible. We'll have to go for the gold first.
Yeah. So we're going to have to send... Well, we can send a scientist out as a miner. Mm-hmm. And we'll put them... let's take some titanium, I think. Or uranium.
Chances are good that Chronobot is going to take that building space from us anyway. We already have 2 uranium, so get more titanium, I think.
Yeah, so titanium and a gold. Right. And
feels weird leaving that purple cube there.
It does. Let's see what Chronossus does. It's a 3.
It's in building a super project then.
It's building a super project. Now.
Yeah. So it spends its breakthrough.
Yeah.
Spends his breakthrough and he buys the synthetic endorphins because it's the most valuable one that is in the present or behind.
Oh, because that's in the future, isn't it? The exo crawler.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that goes there, and that's just going to get it 5 points at the end of the game.
Exactly.
That's okay. And then number 3 moves on to there, and then it's our go. So we can do it.
Sure.
We can go here with a scientist as a builder to build 302, which is normally. No, sorry. Hang on a minute. I'm reading this wrong. I was looking at the cost of the factory.
Oh.
We've still got it. We just didn't need those resources.
I'm sure we'll need the gold again later.
Well, shall I put the gold back and take the neutronium?
Yeah. Much rarer. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Agreed.
There you go. So yeah, I was looking at that one when I should have looked at this.
Well, and there's a chance the Chronossus wants to go mining anyway, and it would definitely take that neutronium.
Right, okay.
Complete its set.
So should we... Which is the mining one? It's only on a 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's worth a chance. So get rid of the titanium, get rid of the uranium. We've built this. We get 3 water, and we can use it as a free action to get an additional water. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go.
This is the bathroom with the leaky tap. That's
yes.
what that building is.
Okay. So that's our go done. Now it's Chronossus.
Still has 2 robots.
It's a 4. It's building a factory. It can't build. All the building spots
there's no building
full.
Space left. All right. So it uses up a robot and it gets a victory point.
And it gets a point and that moves on.
Yep.
Okay. Our go. We pass.
We're out of robots and we're out of buildings that use people. So yeah.
I mean, technically, we could spend 5 water just to move the morale marker on, but we do not want to.
Let's not and say we didn't.
Yeah, let's not do that. So we pass. Chronossus is a 5. So it recruits.
Oh, I think we missed a water payment for using the capital, according to chat
here?
anyway.
Okay, I'll spend 1 water. Thank you, chat. We'll believe you. So it's rolled a 5. It's recruiting. It doesn't get the bonus, but it gets a victory point instead. So the next thing it wants is an administrator. And there is an administrator there. So it takes an administrator and it gets another point. There you go. Right. We've already passed. Chronossus goes again. Oh, I need to move it on. It's a 4, which is do nothing
space.
But then it's still going. It's a 4, which is it goes mining, but it can't go mining because it doesn't have any exosuit, so it is passed. And that is done. Cleanup. Okay, so who's asleep?
Everybody.
Not quite. We've got 2 miners. They come back motivated. We've got this scientist here who comes back motivated because of our special power.
All right.
But other than that, everybody else is asleep. So we might be all right for people this round. We got 5. Okay, there we go. Chronossus gets those back. And check for game end, next era. So we were there, we now are here.
Correct.
Round 3. The next super project is the Grand Reservoir.
Ooh, I like the sound of that.
Which is every time you spend water,
you spend one less.
One fewer, I think.
Yep, that's exactly right.
That's what the iconography says to me.
And it helps out immensely because all of our building spaces need water.
Yeah, right. So we're going to do some buildings. All right, buildings have been done. And let's do some resources. So we need a scientist, no engineers, 2 administrators, and a genius. And then as far as the minerals go, we get a neutronium.
More neutronium before the
gold,
impact.
And there we go. Right, that's that done, buildings done, super project done. We're ready to go. Paradoxes. He's going to get one.
Thankfully, we don't have to roll for the first time.
Yeah, we don't have to roll, but
he still rolls once.
does. And he's rolled a 1. So Chronossus gets
his first paradox of the game.
First paradox. There you go. Okay.
Time travel is dangerous, little robot.
Don't try this at home. Powering up.
We're still going first somehow.
Now.
You said we have 5.
We have 5 people. We've got 2 administrators, 2 scientists, and 1 engineer.
And we don't need to go back in time this round.
No.
So what we would like to do, I guess, well, we should make some decisions about what our plans are. I'm a bit torn about whether or not we go for the exocrawler or the reservoir. I like the fact that the Chronossus isn't going to try to build every round, but it will build the exocrawler if it rolls a 5 at any point this round.
Because if it's tied on victory points, it goes for the oldest one.
No, he doesn't have a. Sorry, he doesn't have a. He's going to research first with the 5. He's going to research first with the 5. That's what it is. Yeah. So we're probably okay to go for either of those, and we have some time to build them up. Which one do you prefer?
Probably the Grand Reservoir.
So that means that we should be stocking up for next round.
Yeah.
So we're going to need to research once, maybe twice, because our current breakthrough doesn't match. And we have the engineer to spare.
Yep.
So we just need to make sure that those 2 scientists are off doing research things.
We are slightly short on resources. We need 1 more uranium,
and we're out of power cores, so anything that we power up after this point is going to cost us cubes.
Yes.
And not power cores.
Yeah.
So
we don't have a way of getting additional power cores. The only way in the game for us to get a power core is the trader here, which is very expensive.
Yeah, and I don't think we would go for them anyway. It's more efficient to send an engineer to go mining.
Yeah.
So maybe let's just power up a 4th one and dedicate that to being a mining engineer. And then that leaves us with a 4th robot and an administrator to do whatever's clever. Maybe another hire. Maybe another scientist.
What are we going to pay
for
that with? Titanium?
Probably. And then we pick up a titanium and whatever we needed for the, is it another uranium, I guess, for the
it is,
reservoir next turn. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds good.
Yeah, we're fairly well set.
Okay.
Now,
so that's our powering up. Let's see how many move all player tokens to the current time. Yes, I did that. I forgot to remove the free action, but I've done that now. But the other token is on the current timeline. So 3 of these. Right, okay, so it's doing 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That goes back in the bag. And the other 2 disappear out of the game. Okay.
Warping. He's supposed to start slowing down sometime. When is that going to happen?
Now, are we going to
get our 2 water for our empty spaces?
I did not. Thank you. 2 water for 2 empty spaces. That. Are we going to grab some easy 2 victory points here?
I think we have to, or else we're giving him 2 or 4 victory points, depending on what he rolls.
So, do we want 2 water?
Yeah, that's the easiest one to pay back for sure.
And we could go for an exosuit.
That's a fretful noises.
Neutronium? Neutronium's so good, but do we have enough of it? I mean, what are we going to do with the neutronium? Apart from build a power plant?
Well, we want to build the power plants, right? We have 2 endgame goals that look for power plants. But we're not making time to build one this turn.
No.
So I just assume get another worker, maybe.
Have we not got enough?
No. Not when scientists are geniuses. Alternately, add titanium's also easy to pay back.
When you go back with the power plant, you can only pay back 1, can't you?
Correct. 1 per action.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm tempted by the scientist, or just because purple is the best colour. And these are so pretty. I have to be honest, after I'd done the unboxing video for this game, I did spend, I think, 2 hours just looking at these cubes, just staring at them. I was fascinated. Might be joking.
The wash on mine is not consistent.
Right.
I should probably pick up a bottle of wash and rewash them. Anyway, yeah, I think the scientist is good because they're the most useful worker for us. And if we're lucky, we can find a way to remove it from the timeline without having to pay for it.
Yeah, I'm just looking at that next water building. The life support 314.
You want to use the set up a little gold? Yeah, sure, let's do that.
Quite nice.
It's a ton of water coming in.
It's 6 water,
and they come back motivated.
Exactly.
I'm all for that. Sure.
But if we do build that this turn, what else was you thinking we build this turn?
I was just setting up the plan to collect the reservoir as soon as possible.
The next turn.
Yeah. Chronobot is not going to build, well, after he rolls a 3 the first time, he'll build a water building after that, but he will not build the one we're going for. He'll build 311.
Yeah.
I think we're a little safe to, so we would gun for 314 if we wanted to start using him right away, in which case collecting a gold from the warp tile would give us the resource for that.
Unless we were going to go mining anyway.
If we go mining, it's to deny the Chronobot the 2 resources he needs. We have to take the purple one if we go mining.
Yeah. Well, we can take the purple and the gold.
Even better. Let's do both.
But then we don't have enough to build the Grand Reservoir next turn. We'd have to go mining twice.
Yeah, once now, once later. That's fine.
Okay. So, what are we taking?
we are taking
gold.
The 2 water and the gold.
Gold. Right. There you go. Right, so now because we're first player, we put these on the board and we get the 2 victory points. Yeah, first victory points. We have 2 victory points. And then Chronossus puts 1 on, which goes on there. Right, there we go. Whew.
I guess the planning phase is the longest one when you're playing solo and 2 brains.
Yeah, because you're actually planning the entire turn. Right, so we've done the powering up, we've done the warping, we've got the bonuses. It is now the action rounds with us first. So
we got to mine first. He's got 2 tokens on the mining thing, and if he goes mining, he'll complete his full set and get 5 points.
Okay, so we go mining, we go here, we get the neutronium, we get the gold.
Yep.
Done.
What do you got for us, Robot?
Let's have a look. It's a 4.
So he was going to go mining.
So you're saying it puts this on the top spot?
Well, no, he's going to... First, we determine which items he wants, and then he goes to the space that gets him as many as he can get in the highest priority. So I think he's going to go to the top spot because he wants titanium that he can get from any space, and the next most valuable one to him is uranium. And so the top space is the only one that he can get both uranium and titanium
right,
from.
okay. And then that goes on there.
Into the slots, yeah.
Yeah, okay, got it. And then number 4 moves to there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, right, hour go. There hasn't been a frantic build, has there? Let's use the free action space first before I forget.
Great.
There's a water.
Probably build that water building now.
I think so.
Get it out the way.
So we'll send a scientist.
Or holding. I'm sorry. He could still go mining and take the last mining spot from us. So if we wanted the 2 items that are still left in the mine, we might want to prioritize that. If we don't care, then go ahead and build.
I mean, resources are always good, especially for us because they power exosuits. Yeah, let's do it. Let's send a scientist as a miner down here, get the gold and the titanium.
Maybe send an administrator instead, because we need the scientists to do the research and administrators can't research.
Okay. Good point. Right. Chronossus is a 5.
That is roll the shape die.
So it's doing some research. So that goes there. And it gets a triangle. So we'll give it some triangular people. Okay, right. And then number 5 moves on to there. Okay, hour go.
Well, he's not going to research again for a while, so we don't need to worry about being blocked from that. We could build now. Before he takes the cheap spot.
We can build now. So we use a scientist as a builder to get a discount over titanium.
Yep.
Is there a discount over titanium on this one? There is. So it's one of those, and 1 water. And we build 314, which goes on there.
Great.
Okay, and that has revealed 313.
Well, heck.
Which
Take
is
them both.
Very similar.
Yep.
Okay, right. Chronossus. It's a 3. What's it doing?
It's trying to remove a paradox, but since it doesn't yet have one, it just has the failed action.
So it's a failed action
of one victory point.
It gets 1 victory point, and the marker moves on. There we go. Right, hour go.
I think we have to go research now if we have any hope of building the reservoir next turn.
Okay, so we are researching, which costs us a water. Right, what are we setting it to?
Reservoir wants circle people, so I guess it's a people.
So we set it to a people, and then if we roll a circle, great. The problem is if we don't roll a circle,
any other shape, then we have to research for that shape next turn.
Okay. We've rolled a triangle. So I'm just going to swap that for that, because it doesn't matter. So we've got some triangular people again. Right. Chronossus. It's a 3. So it tries to build a life support building, which it does. So that goes on there. They're both tied, so it builds that one, which goes there.
Does it have 3 water buildings now?
It has 2.
Okay.
It has 2 power plants, 1 factory, 2 life support, and 1 lab. Okay, hour go. We have an administrator left.
He's going to go spend some gold and get us.
He's going to go here.
Water, right?
Yeah, spend a gold. He's going to generate 6 water. That's more like it. And a point.
And we need to be drowning if we're going to have good points at the end.
We've got, at the moment, 12.
It's a good start.
It is, yeah.
Those are rookie numbers.
Chronossus, 4. It's going to build a lab. So it goes there, sees his first player, and it builds this one.
Which would normally be good, but since he doesn't care what the buildings do, he just wants the points.
Hour go, we're done.
Yep.
Chronossus rolls it. Did I move on? I didn't move on. Chronossus rolls a 3, which it can't do. No, it can do.
So
Yes, it can.
Yeah, that doesn't require water.
It removes that.
Oh, sorry, a robot. Yep.
And it moves this on. Yeah.
Takes the oldest timeline tile, warp tile away, and then moves his time tracker up.
Yeah. Yep. Is it the oldest one, or is it from the timeline that has the most on oldest if tied?
Probably that one.
Okay.
it would reduce the amount of rolling it would do, right?
Yeah. Right. It's going again. It's a 4. That would require an exosuit, which it doesn't have, so it passes.
Yep.
Right. We are done. Cleaning up. This comes back sleepy. This one comes back awake. This one comes back sleepy. This one comes back awake. This one comes back sleepy. We have lots of sleepy people this time.
Well, we didn't have to refresh it all last time. We kind of got away with one there.
That comes off. That comes off. These come off. And I believe that is it. Next era. We are now in era 4. The impact is imminent. So we're going to flip over the next super project, which is Welfare Society. I'm going to reveal some more buildings. Let's just show you these. That one.
Yep.
So, all right. And Paradox. So we have to roll for timeline number 3. I've rolled a 1. So we have got our 3rd Paradox.
Thankfully, we can hold 4.
Yes. Oh, I didn't do the building stacks or the people. So no scientists, 2 engineers, 1 administrator and 1 genius. And 1 gold, 1 uranium, 3 titanium. Okay. Right, then we've done the paradox. Powering up. Let's have our 3.
So this is another case where we could put 2 warp tiles out to get...
We're not going first this turn.
Yeah, but we still have to decide how many we're going to do.
Yeah. If we even put 1 out and he puts 2 out, or it puts 2 out, then we get a bit of a penalty.
I might be okay with putting none out.
Yeah?
Well, we're already rolling for timeline tile 3, and we're odds to... Well, maybe that means we should put 1 out, because once we collect an anomaly, we stop rolling for the round.
That's true. Yep.
And so this round, we kind of want to... We need to gather the rest of the resources and wake people up and do research before we can build the Grand Reservoir. All of that has to happen in that order. So that's at least 4 robots.
Yeah. So we definitely need a 4th one.
Yeah.
Now, we can't pay for that with energy cores.
Nothing else done. Yeah, the titanium, because there's so much of it in the mine.
But we need titanium for building the Grand Reservoir.
And we're going to... we have to go... Do we already have to go mining first? I think
we have to go mining for the 2 uranium.
Oh.
But if we use a builder to build the Grand Reservoir, we could get it for what we've got. We have 1 titanium. So I'm thinking the gold.
Yes.
Because that still gives us the gold. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So we've got 4
We could be really cheeky, actually, and take the neutronium off to the traders. We might be able to get two good trades out of that instead of doing 2 mining actions.
Yeah, that's another good use for neutronium, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very rarely use these traders. So, and we do have a lot of neutronium.
Mm-hmm. We could get 4 cubes out of it with 1 action instead of sending two miners.
4 cubes?
because when you send an administrator to the traders, you get to do 2.
So oh, you mean spend 2 neutronium
for four other cubes? Because right now we have no other use for the neutronium.
That is true.
Or we could do 1 neutronium and 3 water, because water is much easier to come by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So that means now we're trading for cubes. Still need to do some research, and then we can build. So that's 3 workers.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's still okay to use the 4th one to collect yet more resources, but I don't think we can afford to do a 5th.
Right. Yeah, I was thinking that. So just 4 exosuits for us.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Let's see how many exosuits. Oh, we should have done the exosuits for the Chronossus first. Not that it would have changed our opinion at all. There's not that many tiles in this bag now, but I'm drawing 3 out. And so that one goes back in. Those 2 go out the game, and it's got 4 exosuits this turn.
The end of my practice game, there was 1 token left in the cup. It just kept pulling that 1
right,
token
okay.
back in. So it's not anything to worry about that your bag is running empty.
Yeah. Right. Warping. It's going to place first.
But we have to decide the number.
Yeah.
I guess we put 2 out, because we know that when we roll next turn for a paradox, we're going to get an anomaly. We're almost certainly going to get an anomaly and then stop rolling. So there's kind of no penalty for us putting 2 out this round. Plus we get the picture.
Apart from that,
the 1 in 6 chance that he rolls to put out 2 and gets 2 points.
Well, no, because if we're putting 2 out, then
we go second.
We go second.
Right. Okay, then 1 I think is the call.
I think 1.
Yeah.
Which one?
What do we want?
We don't need any extra people. We could take the uranium.
Sure.
Yeah, take some uranium.
What are we going to pay back when we go back in time?
Oh, that's a good point. Probably the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't afford the gold.
Yep, fair.
Okay, so we take a uranium.
Mm-hmm.
And, right, let's see how many warp tokens he's going to put on. It's 1. So he puts 1 on there. We put ours on there. And we steal a sneaky point. There we go. Right, okay. Actions. Chronossus first. It's a 3. So it's 2 points and it moves on. Nice and simple.
He says, you took 1 point, I'll take 2.
That gives it 10 points.
They really feel like they're piling up.
Right, our go. So,
administrator off to the traders?
Do that first.
Or do we wake people up? I guess we need to do both of those with our first couple of actions, because we're short on workers, so it kind of doesn't matter what order.
There's nothing we want to do on here first.
We're just so short on people. I guess we could send the engineer off to go collect things if we think that's the best use of them. But we need to get our scientists back before we can go researching.
Mm-hmm.
And there are no scientists to purchase or to hire. We could go steal the genius out from under the Chronossus. He's already got a genius, though.
Yeah. I was thinking if we wanted to go mining before he did, not that there's any neutronium,
mm-hmm.
but was there anything we could get the uranium? Because we do need.
Sure.
Oh no, yeah. See, I'm thinking we go mining, whereas you're thinking we go trading.
Yeah, but we know we're going to need more stuff anyway, so doing both is not a bad plan.
Yeah, so I think we send the miner over here and get 2 uranium.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Chronossus. It's a 4. 4
hires a genius if there is one.
which there is. So even though he doesn't need a genius, he takes a genius.
Yeah, that's my understanding. I'll double check.
You'll double check that. And meanwhile, I will wake people up. Monica's popped in the chat. She just won 2,200 meters. Congratulations. I could probably swim about 2 meters.
Wow. Yeah, that's quite a feat.
Yeah, I'm not a good
Your lungs
swimmer.
are screaming right now.
So yeah, we'll go there. We spend 5 water, and we wake people up the nice way. Come on, people, have a glass of water.
Wakey, wakey.
Did you check that action?
I did, but then I bumped into a little... I'm checking another page with the same action on.
I will carry on.
He's done this twice now, and on page 6 of the book it says, when using the recruit genius / research action, perform a recruit action only if a genius is available, comma, taking it along with 1 victory point, even if the Chronobot already has the genius. And there's no 1 victory point on the action space, which is a little sad.
There isn't.
So I think we owe the Chronobot 2 victory points because he's done this once already this game.
Okay. So yeah,
there should be a little victory point symbol there.
There.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and now it's going again. It's doing a 5, so it's building a power plant. So that goes there, and it takes this one. It is now full of power plants. And then number 5 moves on. Right, our go. We've got all of our people now, so we are going to research in.
Yes, please.
And we've got triangular people and circular chips.
We need any old square.
Any old square. So we'll take a square.
Even you or I would work in this situation.
And we get a clock.
It's our friend the square clock is back.
Yeah. Where was the square clock? There's the square clock. Right, okay. Chronossus. We have a 3. So it is building a super project. And it does have a thing.
And it wants the exocrawler because it's furthest back in time.
That's worth 6, that's worth 6, that's worth 6, but that's the oldest one.
Yeah.
That goes on there. Right, and then number 3 moves on.
So we did well by not planning for the exocrawler anyway.
Yeah. Okay, back to us. We can now build the Grand Reservoir.
And we need to do that before we go back in time.
Yes.
So then the question is, do we take first player? I think we do.
Yeah.
Definitely looking at that next timeline tile, we do.
So we'll use an engineer here. Am I right in thinking that if you use an engineer here, you get the discount? Yeah, because you're doing that action, aren't you? Yeah.
You always apply the benefits of the worker.
Yeah. So we get a discount of 1 titanium. So we spend 1 titanium, 2 uranium, 2 water. Engineer.
We need to use the scientist instead of the engineer. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Mr. Engineer, you're needed for something else.
Please step into this dark room.
Yes. Where's he gone? Where's Dave gone? Dave?
He's now the pump controller, and he's never allowed to leave his post.
Now, this can only go in one space.
Yep, it has to go on the factory.
Got to go leftmost as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We've got 7 of our 8 building spaces filled to get a couple of points. Or 1 point anyway at the end. It's not so bad. We've still got 3 more turns.
Yeah. And we got... That's another 11-point swing.
Yep. That's how we stay above water.
It's going to make everything cheaper. Right. Chronossus time. It's a 2.
Mining?
It's mining. So it needs neutronium. It can't get neutronium, so it wants.
Then it wants to go to a space that gives it a gold and a titanium.
So it takes the gold and the titanium.
And if there are 2 spaces that could fulfill that need, so it takes the topmost space.
Okay, right.
This is the solo games are a lot of what if tied then, what if tied then, what if tied then.
Oh no, I've written rule books for some solo games that are very, very much like that. The last one I worked on, I think, had 5 tiebreakers, and at that point, my brain exploded.
Just pack the game back up.
Yeah,
it's a tie.
It's like, well, that's what a human player would do, and I'm like, yeah, I know, but Right, okay. So that's the Chronossus done. That was a 2. That goes to there. Our go. We are going back in time and paying back the 2 water.
Or the gold now. We have either.
Well, we need the gold for this.
Oh, then yes, definitely.
Yeah, so we'll use the scientist. Well, is there anything we want to do on here? Because that's going to be placed there, and then either that or that is going to be placed here. We have 1 more exosuit, so there is something else we can do over here.
Mm. What jumps out at you? We could stop it from building a lab if we took the building space. I don't think we can afford anything with just the uranium, though. We've got 1 gold, 1 uranium. Yeah, we can't really afford anything. We might go mining for 2 titanium.
Oh, there was the Nomad trading space that you talked about.
That we never used.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
We absolutely talked about this. If we're not going to build any other power plants.
Yeah, I think that's the most efficient one for sure. We can use one neutronium and 3 water to get 4 cubes of our choice.
Okay, and you're keeping the other neutronium to build a second power plant?
Yeah. That was the plan.
Okay. I'm just thinking, these 2 tie together that we're going to probably want to build 3 power plants.
Yep, for sure.
So therefore we need to keep the neutronium.
Oh, okay. Well, we want to be able to use the double trader, or else I don't think the trader is efficient enough to bother with. I'm also noticing we need to spend the breakthroughs that we needed for that reservoir. Yeah.
It was a square and a triangle. Done.
Well, if we're not going to go to the trading space, then do we use... There's nobody we really like in the...
we could just grab a couple more titanium, because we're going to need it.
Yeah, and we get the worker back because it's a scientist, so that's the least expensive option for us.
So we send a scientist over here, and we take titanium and a gold, because we'll need the gold next turn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, right. Chronossus. 4. It doesn't have any exosuits.
No robots left, so it passes.
It passes. Yeah. Right, okay, so it does.
We just get to run our buildings.
So that goes on there. We spend a gold. We get 6 water. And we get a point. We now have 5 points. Then we put the scientist on here. We go back in time to here. And we pay back water or gold.
Like you said, we'll need the gold for next turn, so let's pay back the water.
So we pay back the 2 water. That goes. This comes back. And we get 2 more points of time travel. Oh, 1 more point of time travel. Right, okay, we are all done. Clean up. So this scientist comes back sleepy. This scientist comes back sleepy. This scientist comes back sleepy, even though they were a miner. They don't count as a miner for the coming back sleepy. Is that right?
Oh, they do. They totally do. Yep.
Do they? Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I believe we've done that correctly in previous rounds.
Okay. That one comes back there. So that's all of these done.
Did we switch the first turn flags?
We did not, and we grabbed it, didn't we?
Yep. And by we, I mean you.
Yeah.
Sorry for not reminding you.
What else we got? Check for impact. We have impact.
The free action token.
Free action tokens. That was it.
But other than that, yeah, I think it's impact time, baby.
Oh, and this one comes back awake, and this one comes back awake. Right. So impact. We flip this tile over.
Broken heads.
Yeah. Oh, the tiles which I haven't got out of the pack yet. They're here.
Those are important.
Yes. So, how does this bit work? We have some random tiles. Well, first of all, these two get blocked.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And usually what I do is I take all the rest of the collapsing capital tiles and shuffle them on my hand, and then I just take the first 2 from the top for each of the rows. It's easier than shuffling 3 small stacks.
So I think that's these.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. So I'm just going to shuffle them all together.
And it gets no benefit from the collapsing capital actions, but it will still take the higher space in the column. Because somehow it knows that's the one we want.
What do you mean, this one?
No, in the main action columns of 2 spaces each.
Those
Chronossus will still go to the top action, just not get the benefit of the collapsing capital tile.
Okay, so the first tile is here. Okay, can we zoom in on this bit of the board? I don't have a preset set for this. But
that one says wake everybody up.
There we go.
You get a free wake up
Next
action,
one
but no morale change.
Here, you get to do double research.
Double research, yeah.
This is get an exosuit.
Very nice.
Double build.
Can't afford that one, probably.
That one's not. That is also do a super project. Also build a super project. And then the build one is an extra discount. Right,
yes, okay. But of anything, not just the titanium.
So remind me of these rules. You can use either space, but when you use it, it's gone. You flip it over, and then that space can't be used for the rest of the game.
Yeah, when we remove the robots at the end of the round is the best time to flip them over.
Right. Yeah. Okay, we've done that. And from now on, the top space is neutronium. And we can remove the impact now. The impact has happened. Okay, so we are now moving on to here. And off we go. Round 5. So we need neutronium in the top, followed by gold, a couple of uranium, and a titanium. Okay, that's that done. And people, we have scientist, we have an engineer, and we have 2 administrators. Okay, buildings, we have revealed 111, 208.
That's a good one for us.
310, 403. Yeah, because that, you get to remove a warp token.
And that other lab at the end is also great. We get to remove a warp tile.
Oh, yeah.
And because we're progress, the scientist that works it will come back awake.
Yep. Nice.
Extra good on all counts. So we could decide to, because our board is starting to fill up a bit, maybe we don't worry about the next super project, which I think we should have flipped over, right? Because we saw the Welfare Society last time.
It is the anti-gravity field.
And those should be slid over a bit. So they line up with the timeline tiles.
Because I moved the thing out, didn't I? Yeah.
Yep.
There we go.
Anti-grav is nice.
Yeah, but if we put it on there, I don't think we go for any more super projects.
Right, that's what I was thinking too, because we can't get the power plant extra. Well, the other thing is we could just say maybe we're not building 2 more power plants and we get the super project instead. We give up on that, what is likely going to be 1 point for getting to, 8?
Yeah, true.
Time travel capacity. And instead we go for the 5 extra points from our evacuation action.
Yep. But we will need 2 more breakthroughs.
That is, well, we need any old, we can build the one this turn with any old triangle or the one next turn with any old square. We've been carrying along this useless circle chip for the whole game.
Yeah, maybe go for Welfare Society.
We have just enough time if we use it this turn to max out our morale with it as well.
Yeah, let's do it.
The administrator's still in the wakey space.
Except he's sleepy.
Yeah. Okay, so we're not going to go for power plants then.
Because...
Which also means that
and we'll go for Welfare Society.
That also means that this is the last turn that we can feasibly reach back and grab that gold warp tile.
Gold, yeah.
Man, there's too many things to build. Because the other way we could get rid of it is by building that power plant or building the laboratory and using the scientist. So maybe
yeah.
No, go on.
No, go on, yeah. I do like the look of Welfare Society.
You do or don't?
I do.
Yeah, so we could go for Welfare Society in the laboratory, and that means we don't need to time travel. But of course, we will still have to pay out the uranium. So we have the options. Oh, and chat brings up a good point. We could take advantage of the double capital collapsing tile to get two breakthroughs. I think we only need one, though. Actually, we could use the bottom one.
Oh.
Yeah. To grab any old triangle and then build the Welfare Society in a single move.
Yeah. That'd be good. So we need to set up for it. We need 2 titanium and 2 gold.
Mm-hmm. Yes, efficiency now.
So we go mining, or we need to go trading.
Trading's still quite well. Now, if we're not going to build the 2 power plants, we don't need the neutronium.
We don't need the neutronium. Yeah. Okay. Paradox.
Something like a plan is forming.
So we both need to roll for here.
We're probably only going to roll once, but yeah.
Okay, so we're going to roll first. We've rolled a double one.
Well, that was the best time to roll it because we only get one.
All of those go, and we get an anomaly. Right, where's the anomaly going to go?
The worst spot, all the way to the left on the top row.
Oh, does it have to go there?
It has to go all the way to the left. Yep.
Oh,
just
seriously?
like a super project. Yep. So now we have to get it out of the way first.
Which we can do.
Yes. And now he rolls twice. And maybe he gets his first anomaly.
There's one. And there's another one. Right. So he's got a paradox. He's got an anomaly as well.
And since we both
when you get an anomaly,
we both get to take a warp tile.
You do. Yeah, so which one do we want to take off?
Well, the gold, right?
I think so. Yeah.
And then he takes the oldest one as well.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Cool. So that was paradox. Powering up. We get 1.
Yep. 1.
1.
And we need all of our resources. But we can't get by with only 1 robot, for sure.
Nope.
It kind of doesn't matter what cubes we spend, because we're just going to get them back when we go to the trader anyway.
We are.
So we don't need to think about it too hard.
So uranium and titanium.
Yeah, sure.
2 more. Will that be enough?
Well, we could warp in another.
I'm trying to think if that will be enough. Depends what we're planning to do this turn. We need to put 1 person into the anomaly to get rid of the anomaly. That's going to cost us some resources.
Yeah, the other neutronium, I think. And 2 water. It's pretty expensive.
Yeah.
How much water do we need for Welfare Society? Is
it 4. Well, for us, 3.
Okay, yeah, fair. And which means getting rid of the anomaly will only cost us 1, actually.
Yes.
Thank you to the reservoir. Okay. Yeah, I think we're good on water then.
Yeah.
So
thanks, Dave.
For robot uses, it's research plus super project build.
Yeah.
And hopefully the build with a discount to get the lab for even cheaper. And the trader. So yeah, 3.
So we just need the 3 exosuits. Yeah. Okay.
I think
we get 1 water. So now it's 2 plus the number of tokens. 2 plus 2 tokens.
2 plus. Well, you still draw 3.
It's still 3 tokens. It's 2 plus 3 tokens. Right. Okay.
But if in the weird chance that he drew 3 active power plants, power cores at this point, we'd still only give him 4 robots.
He does not, because there's 2 dead ones in there.
Yeah.
And there's the 2 dead ones. So one of the dead ones goes back in, and now there is only 1 dead one in there.
Yep.
So he gets 3 exosuits. Yeah, the maths on that is pretty clever. Okay, right. So warping. We have to decide first, and we place first. And there's a double space there.
Mm-hmm. So we have to take the double space, or else we're giving him 2 points and missing out on the double. And then he's still going to get the 2 points anyway when he puts his next warp tile down.
I like the double. So why does he get double?
He's not going to get double. He's going to. If we were to only place 1 warp tile, then when the bot places his, he wouldn't get the double value. He would just get 2 victory points.
Yeah. But if we take that 2 times, he's going to get 1 point for that.
He ignores that and takes 2.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, yes. So we're going to put 2 down, I guess.
Yeah.
What 2 will they be? We just paid off water. We could get 4 water for 2.
We could get 4 water.
And we could get, or could we get 2 cubes instead? If we got 2 scientists, we might not even need to wake people up this round. 2 scientists, 2 water?
How many people do we need? We only need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We only need 5.
6 if we get the lab.
We're probably going to wake somebody up, though, with the welfare state.
Welfare state. The welfare society
welfare
does
society,
not wake people up. Does not wake people up.
Oh, no, it doesn't, does it? What am I thinking? Yeah.
I'd go for 2 scientists, 2 water, but I can see an argument for 4 water and some gold, maybe.
Yeah, I'm just trying to plan through what are we still planning on sending an administrator here? Because we need one neutronium to get rid of the anomaly.
Mm-hmm.
So were we going to use an administrator here to get rid of
use the other
neutronium
and 3 water to get 4 building cubes.
To get 4 building cubes. So I think that's probably enough building cubes for us. Well, certainly for this turn.
Yes, I think so too.
Yeah, I like the idea of getting 4 water.
Okay. Then maybe 1 scientist with the other.
Yeah. So 1 scientist, 4 water, but then we spend 1 water to get... So we get 3 water and a wakey scientist. Okay. And it does nothing. It places no warp tile.
All right.
Okay.
I guess we get to roll more, but he doesn't get to 2 points. So call it a wash.
Yeah. Right. That was warping. Action rounds. We're first. What are we doing again?
We're going to get 1 water from the leaky faucet.
Yeah. Drip.
And we're going to go trading.
Is that the first thing we're doing? Yes. Because then the second thing we're doing is...
Yeah.
Yeah.
The super project.
Send an administrator out into the wilderness to meet with the nomads, and we say, here, have some neutronium and have 3 water.
And they say, welcome to Walmart, I love you.
Yeah. And they give us stuff.
Whichever stuffs we need to build, hopefully both the lab and the super project, but I'm not sure there's enough stuff.
2 gold and 2 titanium.
Yep.
Yeah, we can't build the lab and the super project with that.
Can we get... We need the 2 titanium, I think, for the both. We already had 1 gold before. But we need both gold and uranium to build the lab, yeah. Okay, fair enough.
So that's that done. Now it's the Chronossus.
Mm-hmm.
It's been ages since it had a turn. It's a 3. So it is removing an anomaly.
Yeah. So he does actually spend 2 cubes, and then he removes the anomaly from his board.
So does it remove the 2 cubes that it has the most of and the least valuable?
Exactly.
Yeah. So it removes those 2, and it removes the anomaly.
Yep.
Okay. And then number 3 moves on to there. Right. Our go. So the second thing we're doing is the super research.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So we do research, and we're going on here.
Definitely that one.
And we are getting any old triangle.
Old square. Yes, any old triangle.
Any old triangle. We get triangular people. Again, it's all about the triangular people. And then, because of this space, we build welfare society. Oh, no, we can't. Hang on.
Now what are we short?
We haven't got rid of the anomaly yet.
Oh.
Yep, undo that. Put
right.
that back. There you go. Anything else I needed to undo? Yeah. Right. So we're getting rid of the anomaly first.
Yeah, which means we stuff the engineer in there.
We don't need the engineer.
He's by far the least valuable.
Yeah. So we put the engineer in here. We spend
neutronium and 1 water.
And 1 water. And then the anomaly disappears along with Brian. Sorry, Brian.
Tell my Wi-Fi.
Right. Then it's Chronossus again. It's a 5. So it takes an energy core back in the bag. That means it's going to get an extra 1 next turn. And then number 5
sounds like a
moves
cheatsy
on
thing.
There. And now it's our turn. And now we send the scientist here. We get the triangular people. And we then build that for...
We don't have to call them triangular people. You can call them Ohioans like everyone else.
Now, we don't get a discount on this because it's the scientist doing the build. So it's 2
Yeah,
titanium.
I don't think we do.
No.
Part of me wants to say that she's a genius, which means she counts as an engineer, so of course we do. But I think it's actually correct to say that we don't.
Yeah. 2 gold, 3 water. We spend the triangle, we spend the circle. That goes on there. Nice.
That evacuation is going to be a lot of points.
That's a huge amount of points, yeah. Right, okay. 2. No action. And then the number 2 moves on to there.
Thank you.
Right, back to us. We have 2 scientists left. We kind of need just the 2, but we do have an exosuit spare.
And scientists can't hire.
No, but they're geniuses.
So that means they can hire.
Yeah.
So should we get a free wake up?
I think so.
Seems all right.
Yeah, okay.
And then grab yet another scientist,
we'll
unless
send
you
a
want the
genius to
power core.
recruit. Take another scientist.
Yeah.
Which gets us 2
Comes with the
water.
2 water.
Who is awake. Okay.
Bonus points to Red Eye Ghost for getting the Coneheads connection in my Ohio.
Oh, right, okay. All I remember about that is it had Anachrony in.
And we come from France.
I'm sure I've seen it once. Right, number 3. It is building a life support building. So it uses the top space, even though it doesn't get the benefit of it.
That is correct.
And it takes that one. It now has 3 life support buildings. Number 3 moves on. Right, our go. Are we just doing our 2 things?
I think so. I mean, we're out of robots.
Yeah, so we put a scientist on
Just
there.
do.
We spend a gold. We get 6 water and a point. Then Chronossus is doing
If
a
we
5.
use a scientist in a super project in our top row.
Yeah.
Do they come back awake?
Oh, yeah, I think so. Oh, it's a good question.
Asymmetric B-sides. I'm in the rulebook already.
Yeah, David and John are not in the chat.
When you use scientists to take worker actions on your power plants, factories, and labs, they're kept motivated.
So
yeah, she will be tired.
So it's 5. So it's recruiting. And it needs an engineer. And there is an engineer there.
Mm-hmm.
It gets an engineer and gets a point. Okay. And then our go. That goes there. Doesn't cost us any water. And that moves on to there. It's basically 3 points.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Chronossus.
Which one of the Chronossus tokens should have moved on the last
yeah,
turn?
that should have moved. And now I'm doing it again because I've rolled a 2.
Oh, good lord.
So, it can't recruit. So it goes here. And it recruits. There isn't a scientist. So it gets an administrator.
So it takes the administrator.
Yeah.
And
gets another point.
And gets the first player.
Our go, we pass.
Mm-hmm.
Chronossus rolls a... and then number 2 moves down. 3. Oh.
Time
Sneaky.
travel?
Yeah, it removes that one. And gets some of that. and then it carries on. And it's rolled a 3 again, which I forgot to move on. So he gets 2 points.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
A lot of free actions.
And it moves on. Oops. Then it's a 4.
Now it finally stops.
Yeah. Right. Done. Retrieve workers. Administrator, tired. Scientist, tired.
Brain, tired.
Next scientist, tired. Done. So that's coming off and that flips over. Those come off and those flip over. That comes off and those flip over. Now the game goes for 7 rounds, or if all of the things are flipped over. In your multiplayer games, how often does it end on round 6?
I would say most of the time.
Yeah. I think I've played it once where it didn't end on round 6.
In 2-player, it can go to round 7. That's happened to me in actually both of my last 2-player games. But with 3 or 4, it almost never goes to the final round.
Yeah. Right. We've retrieved workers. We've done that. Next era. Potentially the last one.
We have to retrieve workers from our...
Oh, yeah, we get these back. So that comes back tired.
We have just one scientist left.
We have one scientist. Everybody else is asleep.
Mm-hmm. And there are very few action space availabilities in this round.
We've moved that on. We're revealing the last super project, which is the dark matter converter, which is irrelevant to us because we can't have anything. Buildings. We'll zoom in on the buildings. I'll let you have a look at them while I do some...
Oh, yay.
People.
The garden hose.
So we need 2 scientists, 1 administrator, 1 genius. And then we've got that. Nobody went mining last turn.
Chat is saving our bacon again.
What have we done?
We took the hiring space that came with the free wake up, but we did not wake up.
Oh, of course.
So they remember that we had 1 admin and 2 scientists.
Yeah, we went there, didn't we? Yep. Yeah. Thank you very much, chat.
If we didn't have extra people helping us, even the 2 of us would lose to the Chronobot through our own mistakes.
Right. I think we're done. Paradox.
Yes.
It does.
We roll
twice.
Yeah.
First one we get nothing. Second one we get 2. So there you go. That's averaged out.
Yeah, that's true.
Kind of want the game to end this round though, don't we?
If we can help it.
Powering up. Uh-oh. We might have miscalculated this.
We've miscalculated more than one thing, that's for sure.
We have one exosuit.
Well, we're going to warp for another one, then for sure.
Yeah. Let's see how many Chronossus has. It's 3.
Mm-hmm.
Where's he getting all these energy cores from? Got the black market, obviously. Must be. Let's just take some points off him.
Would make things nice and fair.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So we have 1 exosuit. Warping. We're going to warp in another exosuit then, are we?
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
If we go to warp 2, there's a 1 in 6 chance we actually get 2 free robots.
Yeah.
So that's better than a 0 in 6 chance that we get 2 free robots.
I mean, we are going to get penalties for any of these left on the board at the end of the game.
But we have the opportunity to pay them off right before we do the final score.
Oh, right. So if you get it and don't use it, you just pay it off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I think we put these 2 in.
Sure.
Yeah, gold and a exosuit. Let's see how many he's putting in. Please be 2. It's 1. So he puts 1 in. We then put 2 in. We get a gold, an exosuit, and a paradox. We get an exosuit. Oh, hang on. We should have got 3 water from having 3 empty spaces.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. And then we get a gold. Okay, right. Actions. Chronossus is going first. It's a 4. So it's building a factory, which it hasn't built yet. So it goes on that
the one that takes the discount from us. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And it builds this one because it's worth the most points. Okay. It's only got 2 factories and 2 labs. Right. So now it's us. We've got 2 exosuits. We've got loads of people.
I guess we evacuate, or does it matter? We have so much water. We're not going to spend it. What are we going to do aside from evacuating? What do we do that gets us any points here?
Well, if we want to force an end of the game this round, we need to use a scientist to research.
No, because he's got 2 numbers on the research space.
Oh.
I mean, it's the 2 and the 5.
It's 2 and the 5. So that's only a 2 in 6 chance.
Can we evacuate first and see if he decides to research for us, and then we do something more profitable with our final action?
Yeah, because we need to evacuate at some point.
Yeah.
So we'll evacuate with an administrator?
Sure.
Hey, we're evacuating.
You can take a head count.
So we get how many?
18 if I do my math.
18 points. Wow.
Not half bad.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There you go. 18 points. That certainly caught us up on points. And you're supposed to put one of your tokens here, aren't you? There you go. We have evacuated. Mm-hmm. Evacuation has happened. Right, Chronossus, come on. 2 or a 5? It's a 3. It's not a 2 or a 5. So it's building a super project. It can't build a super project. So it just gets a point.
And it still spends an exosuit.
It still spends an exosuit on that space.
Yep.
And it gets a point. Right, our go.
So, yeah, if we were to let the game go on,
we'd get another anomaly.
Risking? We would get another anomaly, and then we'd have to pay to get rid of it. And we're short on cubes. Right. So I guess we just go for the 2 points. I suppose that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not worth risking it to see if he's going to do it, and we can't.
Yeah.
Let's take an action that uses a worker and then give him another chance to roll the 2.
Okay, yeah. We're not in a rush.
Let's get our drip and up our morale.
So we gain a water, and we then do not spend a water. And the morale goes up to there. So just thinking about this, if we did extend the game, we are going to be able to up our morale, which is going to be 2 points.
Mm-hmm.
The anomaly is actually going to get an
probably
extra point.
Twice, which is 4. The anomaly will be worth a net -2, yeah.
I think it'll be worth a net -1.
Because they're usually worth 3, and we'd go up to the silver category of the building requirement.
Yeah, we'd go up to there, and it gives us the extra round to do the morale, which is an extra 2 points.
And if we paid the water, which we don't need to hoard as much anymore because we have more than 12, we can afford to wake our team up.
We need 18 for the big points.
Oh, 18. Oh,
18,
wow, okay.
which we've got. We've got 20.
But we've only got 2 or 3 to spare, yeah. So would it gain nearly as many points if we gave it the time, I guess is the question. It's got 1 exosuit.
Oh, that's the thing. It's going to be doing more stuff as well.
Yeah. It's going to gain a point if it rolls a 3. It's going to gain a point not if it rolls a 4.
Yeah, you're probably right. Giving it a whole extra round is going to get it more stuff.
If it ends up using the 4 to do nothing and then the 4 to go mining, it will complete its set. Mm-hmm. Or if it goes hiring, which I guess it's not about to do, but if it were to go hiring, it has the chance to complete its other set.
Yeah.
I think we probably call it because there's too many ways for him to get his 5-point bingos.
But let's go on here and spend our gold for 6 water and a point.
Sure.
But do we need all of this water?
Now we could almost afford to morale up twice.
Yeah.
All right, Chronossus.
So let's see what it does.
2 or 5.
It's a 4, which is nothing, and it moves on. So we could, at this point, use our scientists and 8 water to wake everybody up. Now that gets us an extra 2 points.
And then...
So we're net equal on here, but then we've got scientists left that we can not really do anything else with because we've no exosuits.
If we can afford to morale up, we definitely should. And then use the scientists that become awake after that to go back in time and pay off the water bill.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Okay, so we use a scientist on here with 8 water to move the morale up and wake everybody up. Okay, Chronossus. It's a 5.
Hey, he used
so
the
it's
space.
doing it. So it's using the space, and it's getting a circle. Let's give it a circular chip. There we go. Right. And then the number 5 moves on to there.
Something it can't do, yeah.
Okay, so our go.
That was
the game is going to
end.
end. So what do we now want to do that's going to get us any points?
We've definitely got to go back in time and pay the water bill.
Okay, so we put a scientist on here. We go back.
I guess it doesn't. Well, we'll get the benefit for going up. The thing we're short is the uranium. That's the one we can't pay back.
Yeah, we can go mining.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we go back in time.
So instead of going back in time to pay the water bill,
well, it doesn't have any.
Doesn't matter which one we do. Yeah, it's all the same.
So we pay that back. We lose 2 water. We gain a time travel bonus thing.
And we're still somewhere on the...
We have got 16.
Well, that was the 2 that sent us under.
Yeah.
But it's 2 points either way.
It's 2 points either way.
Yeah.
Except if it would have been on there, it would have been negative points. Okay.
Yeah, we're gaining 2 less instead of losing 2. Yeah.
Chronossus is a 3, which it can't do, so it just gets a point.
He doesn't even get a point. He's out of robots. He just passes.
Yeah, but that space doesn't require robots.
I have him tracked wrong. No, you're right. Gains a point. Yep.
There we go. Gains a point. Our go. So, yeah.
So we can go mining to not lose 2 points.
Yeah. Which I think
is there anything we can do that gains us points?
I don't think so. We can't build anything. We don't have any resources.
We have no cubes.
No.
All right. Fair enough. Let's do it.
So should we take the neutronium just for a laugh?
It all washes anyway because we need to pay back a robot we don't have. We should unless we can. No, we can get a uranium and a gold because we owe both of those.
Oh, we do.
So that's essentially a 4-point move instead of a 2-point
move. So uranium and a gold. Right. Okay. So we're all done. Chronossus is a 3.
Now he can't do it.
Now he passes. And we also pass.
Yep.
Yeah, we do. Right, we are done. Do we need to bother retrieving workers?
No.
Okay. So, what happens at the end of the game?
Now, we have to pay off all of the debts that we can't pay.
We have a uranium and a gold.
And we lose 2 victory point chips for the suit that we can't pay off.
So we lose 2 points.
Yeah.
Because you needed an exosuit on here.
We needed a powered up exosuit that we did not use. Yeah.
And we pay back a scientist.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's all them done. What about the one that Chronossus has got on here? Does he lose any points for that?
Let's double check.
Don't forget to move the Chronossus token. I don't think it matters, does it? Because it passed.
Yeah.
There might be one I forgot to move. End of game, Chronossus does not lose points for its warp tiles that remain on the timeline. It gets 1 point for breakthrough, plus 2 points for a complete set. Right, so it gains 1 point because it had some chips. Right, and then we get points for this. So we had 12 water, so that's 2 points. We didn't get
9
that
building
at all.
Spaces.
So we get 1 point for the 9 building spaces.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those goals are really tough.
We then get 10, 16, 17, 18, 24. That's good. Super projects are amazing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20. Right, 24 points for our buildings. We get 7 points for that, and we get 4 points for that, so that's another 11. There we go. I think we're done. And then it gets 11, 15, 17, 20, 25, 28, 29, 31, 33, 36.
Oof.
There's a score pad that I should be using, but I'm going to use these instead. So 36. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is 35, and 1 is 36. Right, is that it?
I think so. Now we just see who has the bigger stack.
Okay, what do you think in the chat? Who do you think has won?
I was very confident until you said 36.
So just before we score up, something that I didn't mention at the start, this video is not a sponsored playthrough video, although I do have a professional relationship with Mindclash on other projects. This was not a sponsored playthrough video. My Patreon supporters voted that this would be the solo playthrough, one of the solo playthroughs that I did this month. So this video is only made possible thanks to the support of my Patreon campaign. So if you like the content that I make, obviously give the video a like, make sure you subscribe to the channel. But please consider supporting me on Patreon, because it is the Patreon funding that I rely on to produce videos. This weekend, I am doing, I think, 6 or 7 live streams. I'm having a load of friends over, and we're doing a big games weekend. And I'm going to be doing about 6 or 7 live streams. They are only going to be available to Patreon supporters this weekend. I probably will make some of them live next week, but Patreon supporters do get access to them this weekend. So thank you very much for your support. Right, let's add up Chronobot first. 10.
While you're counting, I'll also mention that as a Patreon supporter, I have the opportunity to play with you on the stream, which is no small benefit.
That is true. Yeah, so do you think we've won or not? What does the chat think?
It sounds like they think it's close one way or the other.
Okay, right.
And I appreciate their optimism. I think we might have pulled it off with the 18-point evacuation, because that's half of the score of his whole building hall.
So Chronobot has scored 10, 20, 30, 40, 55.
Nice round number.
That doesn't seem a lot.
More than when I played against him.
Okay, so 55 for the Chronobot. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61. Nailed it.
Woo!
Yeah. Close-ish. 61 versus 55.
It's about a 10% difference.
Yeah. That's all right.
That was really close.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I played him, he had way more failed actions, but then totally stalled out at the end. I think getting that late power core might have been a big swing for him. Mm-hmm. But we did actually, I don't know if it was luck or skill, maybe we'll call it skill because we're nice to ourselves, that he didn't get either of the 5-point bonuses for filling out a resource or recruit set.
There was definitely one time where we prevented him from doing it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. We went after that Anachrony, so he couldn't.
Yeah.
And then I think he missed out on scientists.
Yeah.
There was always something he needed that was missing, or the action space was taken. Now this has been a nail biter, and it was a hive mind versus the Chronossus, definitely. So yeah, thanks to everyone in chat that pitched in and reminded us when we missed a bit.
Yeah, yeah. And if you've never played a solo game like this before with 2 people playing together, try it. Because I tried it once a few years ago. And realised this is actually really good fun. I mean, I like cooperative games, and I also like working with somebody on something. So playing a solo game like this is actually my preferred way of playing a solo game. Not just because of the social aspect of talking to somebody else and working out the puzzle, but my brain can't cope with these things as well. So yeah, thank you very much, Stevie, for helping make this possible, because
I loved it. It was a great time.
It wouldn't have been anywhere near as enjoyable on my own, because I would have been struggling and I would have been forgetting more things, as well as obviously trying to think about what to do. Yeah, it was really good. Now, this was a lot less complicated than I was expecting. For some reason, I'd thought, I've played the original Chronobot about a year ago, and I'd been told that the new Chronossus was a lot more complicated. I don't think it is. I can't remember the old Chronobot, but I don't think this doesn't seem that much more complicated than the original one.
I think the board looks a little intimidating with all the arrows and overlaps and things, but definitely by halfway through your first game, it's a very easy pattern to remember, just so long as you remember to move the tokens along.
Yes. What I'm going to do is I am just going to show you the old Chronobot there. Well, I say the old one, this is the updated one. So what is different?
I mean, it's still got action tokens moving in loops. It's still got set collection of resources and workers.
It has a fixed number of exosuits, 6 before the impact and 4 afterwards.
I think a big part of it is the flexibility and the modularity of the Chronossus, because it has those action tiles that you can swap in and out for different difficulty levels.
Right.
And that also allows it the compatibility with all of the different modules.
Yeah. And that's the thing. We've only played tonight base game with the alternate timeline expansion. I have the Infinity Box. There are many expansions that come with the game, which I've actually never played in the multiplayer game, let alone in the solo game.
So many of them are so good.
Which ones have you played then?
So the easy ones to play are the interlocking buildings. It's a set of 4 buildings you add that don't have actions on them, but they give you different resources based on which adjacent building spaces have been completed, which is fun.
These aren't one of the expansions then? These are just a little mini expansion, are they?
That one that I just mentioned is in the Future Imperfect module collection. Yes.
Okay.
And then there's another tiny add-on set of buildings called the Neutronium buildings, which I believe have higher cost but stronger actions. Don't remember exactly what all 4 of them do off the top of the head. The ones in the old box, I really like Guardians of the Council. They let you use the Chronobots robots in a multiplayer game. So you get to consume a worker and take a special action space to get access to one of these guys. Mm-hmm. They always count as if they're piloted by a genius, and they have a capital space that only they can use. So it changes up your ability to sort of stall and wait and see what other people are doing without being blocked yourself.
Right.
But the access to the Guardians is quite expensive.
Okay.
I've played the other 2 modules that come in the base game as well. Pioneers is kind of interesting. You are able to send your robots off on a little expedition and flip a card and roll a die and add some upgrade numbers to see what free resources you get. Okay. The thing with Pioneers is that you kind of have to play the expansion very hard, because the amount of free resources and value and points of upgrading your robot are quite high. It makes sense if you're adding that module that you should be focusing on it, but it makes the resource generation a bit less dependable, but it also gives you enough that it's more like it flips the puzzle around. What's the most efficient way to use all this free stuff that I just got?
Right. Okay.
Doomsday, I think, is really good if you're playing a full 4-player game. Because 2 of the factions are trying to shorten the game by preventing the impact from happening at all. Yeah. And the other 2 are trying to make the impact happen sooner. Yes. So that you have, I guess, also trying to shorten the game, but in a different way, making the capital collapse sooner. So you have one of those games. There were really old Settlers of Catan modules that put people in sort of uneasy alliances where you're working towards a similar goal but not sharing points. And this feels a lot like that, because the 2 factions that are both pulling in the same direction are still trying to cut each other off of resources and whatnot. They just happen to have a shared goal there. And that also brings in the experiment cards, which sound like they would be a big deal, but it's really just another way to trade resources for points. So they help compensate for being cut off, because you've got all the resources you were going to spend, and now you can't do it because someone cut you off or took the building you wanted. The experiments give you an opportunity to spend them and make up the lost points that you would have gotten otherwise.
And can you mix and match these together? Can you include like all of them?
It is not recommended that you do. Actually, there's a section in the book that's like, if you want to mix them up, here are some good combos. Right. But it definitely says you can try them all, but do so knowing that the game was never balanced with this play in mind.
Okay. You might get some weird
run into
stuff
some
happening.
buildings that are really weird combo-y kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've not played all of the ones in the Infinity Box. We played Intrigues of the Council, which omit the endgame scoring condition cards and allow the players to sort of build the endgame scoring conditions throughout the game.
Mm-hmm.
And we've played the actual expansion, Fractures of Time, where you have an extra resource to manage and an extra sideboard that stores it. And
you get these
then
lovely
you're
little
reusing workers to take extra actions with them,
Yeah.
but that also frees up the space you just left, which makes worker placement much more complex and I think more interesting.
I remember the first time I played Fractures of Time, I said that I never want to play the base game again without Fractures. Now, it's been so long since I did that. That was like 2 years ago, I think, that I've gone with the base game tonight. But yeah, Fractures of Time is an excellent expansion. As you say, you use a worker and then you use this extra resource and you blink and you actually reuse them somewhere else. So you get to do a lot more within an age, but the game is only 5 ages, I think, instead of 7.
Yeah, if you add a couple of the other expansions, you go to 6 instead of 7. So a lot of them shorten the game because they make the rounds longer. I think they're trying to average out the total game time.
Yeah. Cool. Well, this has been fantastic. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, same here.
I just need to get all this put away. So yeah, thank you very much to everybody for joining in. As far as Mind Clash games go, I can tell you my prototype copy of Voidfall arrived today. David and Nigel, the 2 designers of Voidfall, will be arriving at my house on the 9th of September, I think. They're coming to stay with me for a couple of days, and we've got a whole 2 or 3 days worth of filming. So there's going to be all sorts of videos produced for Voidfall at the start of September. They won't be done live. They will be filmed and edited. They'll go live with the Kickstarter campaign, which I believe is later on in September. And also expect some Perseverance coverage. I will be getting one of the first copies of Perseverance when it comes off the printer. And I have the whole of January next year booked out to create some videos on how to play Perseverance. So yeah, lots more coming from Mind Clash in the future if you are a fan of Mind Clash games. And I definitely want to cover more Anachrony on the channel because I really want to dive into some of these modules and play them and see what they're like. But anyway, we're all done. Thank you very much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time.
Good night, everyone.
Gaming Rules is proudly sponsored by Game Toppers, upgrading your gaming experience. Visit GameToppersLLC.com.